really calling everybody here today? What's going on? I've heard some speculation about a lot of different things. And I would probably venture to guess they are 100% wrong, which is really pretty cool. So, I will speak up a little bit more for those in the background. We have some special guests here today from the Guard who want to make a presentation. And I am not going to spend a whole lot of time other than to introduce them and welcome them here to our organization and what we do, the home of many vets ourselves. We're definitely veteran friendly, but they wanted to make a presentation on behalf of one of our members, or one of our employees and co-workers. And with no further ado, Chris Cooley, just sit right there. Come on up. The floor is yours. I've only seen Chris in jeans and this is really cool. He dresses up so well. That's awesome.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Wilsey. I'm the Director of Family Programs for the New York National Guard. First of all, can everybody see me? Governor Cuomo was still in charge. It's be a lot lower. Not that I followed him anywhere. Okay, so two peanuts walking two. Why are we here today? We're here because you're a company that fits the ethos, the ethic of hiring veterans, supporting veterans, service members, and their families. And believe it or not, you're in a percentile that's not as high as we'd like it to be. So when we get an opportunity to come out and meet with a company and its staff, and this is fantastic to have this many people, thank you for bringing them all out, so that we could make a presentation to one of your employees. But I'm not going to be that guy that tells you what employee it is. I'm going to let Sergeant Cooley do that. After I tell you about ESGR. ESGR is the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve. It is a DoD-recognized organization that's been around since the 70s. Their job is to keep a camaraderie, if you will, between the military and the civilian workforce, or civilian employers. Without you, it's going to sound like part of a script here, but it's not. Without the support of employers, our guardsmen and women can't do the job that they've been assigned, or that they volunteered to do. So now you have a class of people who are in the 1 percentile of our population, and that's fine, because it is an all-volunteer force. But you're part of that force now too, because when Sergeant Cooley has to go to drill, when Sergeant Cooley has to go to annual training, when he has to do training for the military, he has to come to his employer and ask that he be able to do that, hopefully with the cooperation of the employer. And believe it or not, in some cases, some employers do not cooperate, and we find that our service members are now without a job. That's not the case here. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Sergeant Cooley. You already know who he is. Great uniform, right? Looks good in the suit, as we say. To say a few words and to bring up the nominee.
So last year, you guys, well, many of the MS-ISAC are aware that I spent a lot of time out of the office doing military training. We had a very long and very wet and dirty training exercise in the swamps of Louisiana that lasted about a month long, on top of additional training that I had to do to go before that to train after that. All in all, I was out of the office for over 2 months last year. It's tough being in the Army National Guard and expecting your employer to just say, yes, go do your military training and not feel a little bit guilty about it. Granted, I volunteered for this service and I own that, but that to a guardsman should not necessarily always be put on the employer to absorb. The Center for Internet Security and the MS-ISAC has been overwhelmingly supportive of my service, and for that I'm very grateful. So last year I decided to nominate one person within our organization to receive an award from the ESGR to recognize this. And it was a tough decision to make because there's a lot of people here who put in a lot of effort over the last couple of years. I've been with this company for 2 years now, 2 years this month. So it was tough. Cite this, I decided to nominate Tom Duffy. So,
ESGR is serious about this recognition of employers. We've brought someone who's a dual-handed representative of our national security team, if you will, and our state security team. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Brigadier General Shields, who is not only our New York Army National Guard commander, he's also the Assistant Adjutant General for the state of New York.
I'm not a long talker, but I just came really to support Sergeant Cooley and Tom here in this recognition. And so appreciate everyone's support here, as it's already been mentioned. And so I think at this point we'd like to give you the presentation.
Black Brigadier Tom. It's from the Office of the Secretary of Defense and the ESGR. It recognizes you and the Center for Homeland Security as a patriotic employer for contributing to national security and protecting liberty and freedom by supporting employee participation in America's National Guard and Reserve Force. Also, as a part of this, the ESGR also would like for you to sign a statement of support for the Army National Guard and get a
Absolutely.
pin on your collar.
How old are you, by the way? We can count to our numbers now.
The general's also the lead recruiter, so don't put your heads down, you count.
I'll tell you what my draft number was back in 1974.
So what we'd like to do now is have Tom Duffy as a senior vice president and Mr. Steve Spano, the COO, sign these statements of support just as a gesture so that everyone who comes through these halls, if you will see that ESGR is ever present in their mind and that veteran service members and their families are also ever present.
Sign them all day long.
Hey, Sergeant.
Yep,
Come on, cybersecurity. So we brought our own representative from the New York National Guard in our cybersecurity section, Sergeant Doherty, who I believe has a relationship with some of you already. Come on up here.
Sure. Used to this. Come on. Where am I looking at?
Gentleman in the back. Ladies here.
Look at this, they're practicing for the Oscars. Beautiful.
Tremendous honor, but it's really an honor for the Center for Internet Security, which is, this is just an example of the type of employer it is. It's consistent with our management principles and how we feel treating our employees. We have been certainly a big supporter of veterans through our hiring process, making sure we certainly can support them where we can, but it's a recognition for the entire organization, for everyone that works here. It's a pleasure to be here.
up. So, didn't really have anything rehearsed for this part. I would say for all of you, thank you. It means a lot, and I know at times, you know, it's tough as a service member because sometimes you bring military stuff into the civilian workplace and people don't understand acronyms, and you're just like, wow, why are you so spot on about this one thing? And it's a tough mentality to break sometimes, and I know that working with some of you, especially in the MS-ISAC over the last couple of years, hasn't always been easy because of that. But I do really appreciate each and every one of your support for not only my service, but also the other veterans that work for this organization and the Army National Guard overall. It means a lot. It really does. There's not a lot of employers out there like this. I know quite a few individuals in my unit that struggle with this every month, you know, let alone just having to ask for 3 weeks off a year. You know, they need a Friday off and they got to worry about losing their job. It's a big deal. It's a huge problem, and that's why the ESGR exists. So if you have any questions about what the ESGR is, I defer to these individuals. They can give you a lot more information than I can. But yeah, I just thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Darlene Stanton, who is our ESGR representative for the New York National Guard. So she's got a footprint of over 16,000 service members between the Army and Air. So it's a yeoman's job, and we're able to do at this level some recognition. So we thank Darlene for what she's doing.
You guys want to congratulate Tom, so we'll have to Tom come on up here, and you guys can form a line this way and out that way.
Head coachers, right?
Come on up here as well, Chris, and but again, thanks. Come on over here. All right, come this way. Don't be bashful. Come on. That's
Thank you, sir.